Now on CoastTV News.
Home stretch, the race is on for the Delaware District 20 special election. The candidates met face-to-face in a public forum, and we'll hear what they had to say. Doors open. Delaware's legal marijuana industry launches today. After years of planning and regulation, recreational marijuana sales are now a reality. The magic continues. Chincoteague's wild ponies make their swim back home to live in the wild until next year's festivities.
A cloudy and cooler Friday for Delaware with areas of drizzle and light rain. Then a gorgeous weekend on the way. Lower humidity, pleasant temperatures. I'll have your forecast details coming up next.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Matt Pensick has the day off. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour. It is August 1st. I heard a saying that for teachers, June is like a Friday, July is like a Saturday, and then August is like one long Sunday, but there's still a lot of summer left to enjoy. We have a beautiful weekend on the way, and to tell us more about that is First Alert meteorologist Bob Trahey. Bob, happy August.
Yes, happy August to you too as well, Elisa. Hard to believe we're in August already, and I know some folks that have already gone back to school even a week ago. So it's getting closer, folks. Now, we're looking at a lot of clouds this morning. We had rain last night. Watch for wet roads and puddles this morning. It looks like it's clearing out, but we still have lots of low clouds as a cold front is working through in areas of drizzle and light rain. You can't see it on radar, but bring the umbrella this morning as we are looking at that, and still some showers back to our west through the D.C. area into New York. So even though this front's coming through, it's going to be a slow drying process as high pressure is building in. And we're going to be looking at beautiful conditions for the weekend, but we still have some clouds and some drizzle and light rain to get through, I think, through today. Temperatures right now in the low 70s, even mid 70s around Willard, 72 in Gumboro, 72 in Millsboro. They're not going to move much today. 70 in Seaford, 69 in Bridgeville, and nearly matching dew points, but those will come down as drier air eventually builds in. And we're looking at a northeast wind that's pretty gusty along the beaches now, 15 to 20 miles per hour. Gusting to 21 in Ocean City, 20 in Georgetown, 16 in Bethany Beach. So a refreshing breeze today as we'll see lots of clouds, some drizzle, some light rain, and especially breezy to windy at the coast. And you see temperatures move very little. Here's noon, 76 in Millsboro, 74 in Seaford, 74 in Dewey Beach, 76 in Fenwick Island. So not a great beach day by any means. We're looking at cloudy skies with that northeasterly breeze. And once again, every once in a while, we'll see that drizzle and light rain, and temperatures still in the mid 70s this afternoon and still overcast, I think, even into the 6 o'clock hour as we're looking at those breezy northeast winds today, and temperatures hardly moving into the low to mid 70s, but much better heading into the weekend. Clearing skies, lower humidity. I'll have much more on that improving forecast coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
All right, thank you, Bob. On your screen right now is a map of Delaware House District 20. It covers Milton, parts of Lewis, Harbison, and Georgetown. It's home to approximately 23,000 registered voters. And our top story this half hour: in just 4 days, a special election will determine whether Democrat Alana Berry or Republican Nikki Miller will be the new face of District 20. Both women spoke to constituents at a forum Thursday night hosted by the League of Women Voters of Sussex County, both campaigning on strong education backgrounds. They were asked what Delaware's school funding formula should be and what next steps should be taken.
We are hurting our most at-risk kids by paying the teachers less to teach them. And then you have high turnovers because the teachers can drive a few more miles and make more money doing the same thing.
We're operating in a funding formula that is not meeting the needs of our students and our teachers and our parents today. We have got to figure out how to completely restructure the way that we fund our schools.
And the two women did agree on several topics, including both support DEI and women's right to choose. And here's more background information about each candidate. Nikki Miller is a longtime educator and former Cape Henlopen High School principal. Miller told CoastTV she hopes the experience she gained from past campaigns will better her chances in this special election. Alana Berry founded the Brian Allen Stevenson School of Excellence, a free public charter school in Georgetown. Berry has experience in Dover working on policy and budget under former Delaware Governor John Carney. The Department of Elections says about 22% of registered voters in the 20th district have voted already. That means over 4,500 people have gone to the polls. And from now until August 3rd, the early voting schedule is 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. There are only 2 early voting locations. Those are Lewis Elementary and Mariner Middle School. Election day is August 5th, with many more polling places open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Happening today, Delaware's recreational marijuana market opens. This follows at least 2 years of legislation and planning. According to officials, medical marijuana dispensaries with a conversion license can begin recreationally. In December, the state awarded 15 open retail marijuana licenses across the state, with 5 in Sussex County. Governor Matt Meyer says revenue from the new market will help fund education, public health, and infrastructure. With recreational marijuana sales in Delaware set to begin, some officials got a first-hand look inside the state's marijuana industry. Governor Matt Meyer toured First State Compassion in Milford. He also met with a few Delaware Tech students enrolled in the school's new cannabis industry training program.
As best we know, this is the first program in the state of Delaware, and so just like any other program, when there's a need, we respond to it in the workforce by partnering with the employer, designing curriculum that fits the need, and then producing graduates who can go out and work.
And for an in-depth look at what this new market means, you can head to CoastTVnews.com. While recreational marijuana is now legal in Delaware, some communities in Sussex County have bans in place. Dewey Beach, Fenwick Island, South Bethany, Bethany Beach, Milton, and Rehoboth Beach have banned the retail marijuana sale completely. Lewis has been considering regulations to allow it. Dagsboro voted to ban the sale and production of marijuana. Georgetown's council has now approved an ordinance that will allow for retail marijuana sales, cultivation, and testing, though it will be heavily regulated. It's a final farewell for now as Chincoteague's famous ponies make their way back home to Assateague Island. The Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company says the Saltwater Cowboys will guide the animals out of the carnival at 10 a.m. They'll be paraded along the same parade route as Wednesday. Unlike Wednesday, the ponies will go straight into the channel, swimming back to Assateague Island, where they'll remain until next year's swim. The ponies are expected to hit the water at 10:30 a.m. Maryland Department of Environment officials have revoked over 1,400 lead paint inspection certificates. This comes after an inspector failed to follow safety standards. According to the department, 3 children have already tested positive for elevated lead levels, and affected rental units must now be re-inspected. In Maryland, rental homes built before 1978 are assumed to contain lead paint and must pass safety inspections. The department says that inspector now faces civil and criminal charges. We are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. New or solidified tariff rates will soon be in effect for almost everything Americans import. Today is President Donald Trump's self-imposed deadline day for ending his pause on dozens of duties. Many of the new rates don't match the ones he announced back in April. Trump says that's due to negotiations with trading partners. Amy Kiley shows us those new rates U.S. businesses will have to pay and what they could mean for American consumers.
New tariff rates for imports from dozens of countries are set to start August 7th. That's due to an executive order from President Donald Trump, who's meeting his self-imposed deadline today. The universal base rate will remain 10% for goods from countries with which the U.S. has a trade surplus. The base will be 15% when a trade deficit is involved. The rates are set to go even higher for goods from more than 24 other trade partners. Some of the steepest are on imports from Syria, Laos, Myanmar, Switzerland, Iraq, and Serbia. Notably, the duty on Canadian goods will be 35% for imports that aren't compliant with the USMC trade agreement.
Mark Carney, who's in charge there, is kind of the anti-Trump, to be honest. I mean, everything Trump would do, say, or think is the opposite of what Carney would do, say, or think.
Most products from Mexico are getting another 90-day pause.
Mexico has agreed to terminate those non-tariff barriers and to continue to work with us in good faith.
The Trump administration says it hopes foreign producers will help U.S. businesses cover the costs of the tariffs.
The American economy will boom like never before.
Stock market declines yesterday suggest many investors aren't so sure of that. Several U.S. businesses say they can't afford to pay the tariffs without increasing prices for American consumers.
You're going to see price increases for the average American family of around $2,400 annually, and a smaller economy.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
We're just getting started this morning on Coast TV News Today. We still have a lot more news to get to. Coming up, recognizing Rehoboth history, we'll tell you when the nation's summer capital will unveil a permanent reminder of the Beach Patrol's impact. And Worcester water upgrades will tell you about the potentially expensive project for one community in the county. And community comments will tell you about the new features that's aimed at increasing accuracy. All that and more when Coast TV News Today returns.
5:12 on our Friday morning, seeing lots of low clouds, 69 in Milford right now, and it is, well, it's mild, but these temperatures not moving that much at all today. 72 in Gumboro, Millsboro, and Longneck, 70 in Seaford, Willard, 73 degrees, and we've got a northeast wind. That's going to eventually cool us down too. And those winds pretty gusty, up to about 20 miles per hour in Georgetown right now. Now, it looks like it's clearing up, but it's actually not. We're seeing lots of low clouds, some areas of drizzle and light rain, so watch for that. The cold front working through, but it's going to take a while for the drier air to move in, so really much of the day is kind of cloudy, drizzly with light rain. Then that really nice weather builds in as we go into the weekend. Here's your DriveCast. Light rain drizzle this morning. I gave it the yellow light there, and also the yellow light for the PM commute. More drizzle and light rain. That'll wrap up this evening and then lead to a beautiful weekend. More on that coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Delaware State Police have arrested a Rehoboth Beach man for drugs. Troopers say they searched Steve Pagan's home on Baltimore Avenue Thursday morning as a part of a drug distribution investigation. He was found inside with 2 children. Police say they recovered cocaine, mushrooms, steroids, 2 loaded guns, and over $3,100 in suspected drug money. And the Rehoboth Beach Police Department is now hiring full-time police officers. Applicants must be certified police officers in Delaware. More information on that position can be found on the Rehoboth Beach Police's Facebook page. Road work expected to finish today in Salisbury. The city says traffic signal upgrades have been taking place this week at East Main Street and Snow Hill Road, as well as East Main Street and Ward Street. On your screen right now is where crews are working from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., weather permitting. According to officials, roads will stay open, but flagging operations may cause delays. Drivers are encouraged to use Route 50 or 13 to avoid congestion in the work zone. Many Americans are still opening their wallets despite tariff-based price hikes. Consumer spending increased 0.3% in June compared to May. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, which is how the Federal Reserve gauges its 2% target rate for inflation, also rose 0.3%. That lifted the yearly rate to 2.6%, a high not seen since February. TikTok has announced a new fact-checking feature to help fight misinformation on the U.S. version of the popular app. The feature will be called Footnotes. It's similar to Community Notes on Meta and X. TikTok is selecting users to add written text and background to some of its videos, along with links to the information sources. Notes with the highest ratings will be displayed at the bottom of all U.S. user screens.
We're taking a live look into Lewis right now. Lots of low clouds, a little bit of patchy drizzle and light rain. Make sure you have the umbrella out the door this morning. Not anything in the way of heavy rain. And then a gorgeous weekend, cooler, drier, temperatures below average. We're looking really good. I'll have your forecast details coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Taking a live look outside at Lewis on this Friday and this first day of August. Bob, we are starting August off with significantly cooler temperatures than
yes.
I think I can recall. Usually this is the really brutal time of year.
It can be, absolutely. You know,
Yes.
they call it the dog days of summer, Elisa, and we're in for a nice treat as we go into the weekend. It's going to take a while to dry out. It's not going to really dry out till late tonight, tomorrow morning, but it is going to be beautiful with high pressure across the Northeast Saturday through Monday. Low humidity, dew points in the 50s and 60s, just comfortable and pleasant. Overnight lows in the low 60s. There's a possibility some places are in the upper 50s as we go into Sunday and Monday mornings, but still have some moisture to get through. We're looking at a lot of low clouds right now. What you don't see see on the radar is drizzle and light rain, and we have some of that across the area. It's patchy, but make sure you have your umbrella out the door as we're watching this cold front now from areas of Virginia into Salisbury and just offshore, and it's slowly making its way to the south. You can see back to the west, still some clouds and showers near Hagerstown, Maryland, back to the D.C. area, into New York and Boston as well. So it's going to be a slow process to dry out. Much of the day will be cloudy and kind of drizzly, and then high pressure builds in from the Great Lakes, and this is cool Canadian high pressure, almost the first taste of fall this first day of August, and it's sprawling. So we're looking at beautiful conditions of the next few days as we get into the weekend. Right now, 71 in Redden, 72 in Milton, 72 in Dagsboro and Bethany Beach. Temperatures only creep up 2 or 3 degrees today. That's about it, with dew point temperatures in the 60s and 70s. They'll start to come down as the drier air builds in this weekend. It feels like temperatures pretty much like the actual temperatures as we're looking at winds coming in out of the northeast gusting over 20 miles per hour, at least sustained right now. 22 Indian River Inlet, 21 in Georgetown, gusting to 31 Indian River Inlet. So we're going to see those gusty winds along the beaches, and you can see these orange and red arrows indicating those strong winds at the coast and breezy inland, and the temperatures really not going anywhere. Late morning into the mid 70s, and it pretty much stays there through mid-afternoon with a cooler northeast breeze. We keep it cloudy with the patchy drizzle, and then we finally start to clear it out as we go through the overnight. By Saturday morning, we're seeing temperatures in the 60s and 70s and looking at beautiful conditions. Here's 10 a.m. into the upper 70s at the beaches with a northeast breeze, much lower humidity. And then by the afternoon, struggling to get to 80 degrees, maybe some places well inland will see that. And then we go into your Sunday morning, and it's cool. Temperatures in the low 60s, maybe some upper 50s well inland with 60s and 70s near the beaches. And then Sunday, another beautiful day, temperatures near 80 degrees. And look at these gusty winds over 30 miles per hour at the coast. And then as we go into this evening, even inland areas into the 20 to 25 mile per hour range, and still pretty gusty as we go through the overnight into Saturday morning, gusting 15 to 25 miles per hour. And that's still the case as we go into your Saturday afternoon. And the muggy meter looking much better than it has. We go from humid to comfortable. It's been a long time since we've seen dew points in the 50s, but that'll be the case as we go into the weekend and then into early next week. And then those dew points do creep up midweek. Around 75 in Harrington today and Georgetown, 75 in Millsboro with a northeasterly breeze, and 75 a popular number. Cambridge, Denton, back through Vienna, and then farther south and east, 75 in Princess Anne, but 81 in Chincoteague and 82 in Ocean City. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Beautiful weekend, low 80s for highs, overnight lows in the low 60s, and then gorgeous into the early to middle part of next week with low to mid 80s and lows in the 60s. Umbrella giveaway winners Troy Smith from Lewis. Congratulations to him from Paul Davis and CoastTV.
Expensive upgrades hanging over the heads of neighbors in Worcester County. The water treatment plant in Newark is more than 40 years old, and its aging equipment in part has led to discolored water. County leaders say they are working on a long-term solution, but in the meantime, officials have installed filters at people's homes for free, and neighbors say so far they're happy with the results.
Right now, the improvement to our water is rather cheap, and we're hoping that it lasts for years.
And the county could take out a loan for its general fund, but that cost would fall on neighbors. So for the time being, the county says it will continue to peruse federal dollars and grant opportunities. A Dover man is now facing charges after Seaford police say they arrested him on gun and drug charges. Seaford police say it started just before 2 a.m. on Thursday when an officer spotted a car fail to stop at the intersection of Virginia Avenue and Bridgeville Highway. The driver, who police say is 23-year-old Sherwood Hawley, then made what they call aggressive maneuvers and pulled into the Seaford Meadows apartment complex. A search turned up a loaded gun, cocaine, amphetamine pills, drug paraphernalia, and about $660 in suspected drug money.
And coming up, a fresh batch of cool things to do to keep summer rolling. Stay with us.
If you're looking for something fresh and local to do this afternoon, head downtown to Milton's Farmers Market. According to the Milton Chamber of Commerce, the market is open today from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. at 100 Union Street. Organizers say you'll find fresh produce, homemade baked goods, local flowers, seasonal fruits and vegetables, and handmade crafts, all from your favorite local vendors. Rehoboth Beach will unveil a new historical marker that is at a ceremony on August 5th at 9 a.m. at the Beach Patrol building. Officials say the marker will honor the Beach Patrol's long history. Mayor Stan Mills says it's an honor to receive the state historical designation. Sadly, the first day of August is not going to be a good beach day, Bob. You were just talking about that during the break. Unfortunately, some rain, but we're going to get some relief from the humidity.
Yeah, I would think the
And that's a
restaurants and the
positive.
stores, a little retail therapy today, at least it would definitely do, because it's going to be cloudy. We're going to have a strong northeast wind, and the rip current threat is moderate. Really be careful out there. Dangerous with waves of 2 to 4 feet and windy. Ocean City mid-70s in Fenwick Island. We're looking at clouds, patchy drizzle and light rain. So make sure you have your raincoat on the way up to Cape May on the ferry. Low to mid-70s in Rehoboth and Lewis. On the bay side, low 70s in Cambridge, lots of clouds and drizzle. And Chrisfield, similar conditions, mid-70s for you. We dry out into the weekend, and it's looking fantastic both weekend days. Much more in your forecast coming up in the next half hour.
We have only about a month left of summer, but it's not too late to enjoy the fun and flavor Delmarva has to offer. Here's Coast TV's Christina DiRobertis with your cool things to do this weekend.
This week, we're going to dive right in, literally, with a Southern Delaware delicacy because Oyster Week is back. Starting Sunday, August 3rd until August 7th, you can taste your way through the coast with locally grown oysters, and it's not just a food fest. This week highlights sustainable farming and those who keep our bays healthy and delicious. Also happening, Rehoboth's signature summer art show returns for its 52nd year. The outdoor fine art and craft show runs both weekend days, featuring more than 100 artists, live music, food, and a Dogfish Head beer garden. More peaches this weekend, this time in Kent County. The annual Peach Festival returns to Wyoming Saturday from 9 to 3. And if you're still in a pony state of mind, the Chincoteague Fireman's Carnival keeps the fun going through Saturday from 7 to 11 p.m. Or you can get a new pet this weekend. The Brandywine Valley SPCA is hosting an adoption event in Rehoboth. It's happening Saturday from 10 to 3 at the Petco on Coastal Highway. You can head to coasttv.com and click on Cool Things to Do for event details, tickets, and more.
Now on Coast TV News.
Home stretch, the race is on for the Delaware District 20 special election. The candidates met face-to-face in a public forum, and we'll hear what they had to say. Doors open. Delaware's legal marijuana industry launches today. After years of planning and regulation, recreational marijuana sales are now a reality. The magic continues. Chincoteague's wild ponies make their swim back home to live in the wild until next year's festivities.
A cloudy and cooler Friday for Delmarva with areas of drizzle and light rain. Then a gorgeous weekend on the way. Lower humidity, pleasant temperatures. I'll have your forecast details coming up next.
This is Coast TV News Today.
Good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Matt Pensick has the day off. It is 5:32. It is Friday, and it's the start of a new month. It is August 1st. Believe it or not, August, it's a special month for Bob. Bob, it's your birthday month. I know a lot of August birthdays, so that's a plus.
It is my birthday month, but you get to my age, Elisa, you want to kind of slow down the birthdays a little bit. They go faster the older you get. All right, looking at the weather, we are looking at what appears to be clearing skies, but it's not. The thick clouds are moving out. We still have low clouds. What you don't see on the radar is drizzle and light rain, and we have some of that out there this morning as a cold front is sinking to the south slowly. Now, right along the state line of Delaware and Maryland, it'll continue to move to the south. And the drying process is going to take a while. In fact, much of the day is cloudy. You can see the showers extending back from D.C. up into New York. So we still have more clouds, some more drizzle, some more light rain as we go through the day. But eventually drier air will build in as cooler high pressure will provide a beautiful weekend with lots of sunshine and lower humidity. Right now it's lower 70s out the door. These temperatures will not move much much today. 71 in Georgetown, 72 in Millsboro and Lewis, 71 in Bethany Beach. And the winds are picking up, sustained 15 to 20 miles per hour at the coast and gusting close to 30 now at the beaches and getting pretty breezy inland. So that'll be the case today. A little windier at the coast. And note how temperatures hardly move. By noon, we're in the mid 70s. They might actually slip a couple degrees by mid-afternoon. A little bit of patchy drizzle and light rain. Now we finally start to clear it out a bit as we go into this evening, but it's going to be a bumpy ferry ride. Some whitecaps heading up to Cape May with temperatures in the 70s, gusty northeast winds up to about 30 miles per hour. So hang on to your hat. Make sure you have a raincoat for some drizzle and light rain.
Thank you, Bob. Happening today, Delaware's recreational marijuana market opens. This follows at least 2 years of legislation and planning. According to officials, medical marijuana dispensaries with conversion licenses can begin recreational sales. In December, the state awarded 15 open retail marijuana licenses across the state, with 5 in Sussex County. Governor Matt Myers says revenue from the new market will help fund education, public health, and infrastructure. With recreational marijuana sales in Delaware set to begin, some officials got a first-hand look inside the state's marijuana industry. Governor Matt Meyer toured First State Compassion in Milford. He also met with a few of Delaware Tech students enrolled in the school's new cannabis industry training program. On your screen right now is a map of Delaware House District 20. It covers Milton, parts of Lewis, Harbison, and Georgetown. It's home to approximately 23,000 registered voters. There is a vacant seat in the Delaware House of Representatives, but in just 4 days, a special election will determine whether Democrat Alana Berry or Republican Nikki Miller will be the new face of the district. As CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken shows us, the two women each shared their vision for the district's future last night.
A full forum with people in District 20 eager to hear what Democrat Alana Berry and Republican Nikki Miller see for the future of the area. The women are facing off in a special election on August 5th. Hosted by the League of Women Voters of Sussex County, the candidates were asked a variety of questions from the league as well as the public. When asked how would you work with Governor Matt Meyer's administration, here's what they had to say.
Any bill that I would write, any piece of legislation that I would co-sponsor or champion, I would make sure that the governor's office is in and understands the intent of that bill from the beginning.
I believe that the governor needs somebody with a little bit more experience than him in the classroom and in leadership and education to be able to support his work, obviously in a very kind and supportive way.
The two women agreed on several topics, saying both support DEI and women's right to choose. Both campaigning on strong education backgrounds, they were asked what Delaware's school funding formula should be and what next steps should be taken.
We are hurting our most at-risk kids by paying the teachers less to teach them. And then you have high turnovers because the teachers can drive a few more miles and make more money doing the same thing.
We're operating in a funding formula that is not meeting the needs of our students and our teachers and our parents today. We have got to figure out how to completely restructure the way that we fund our schools.
Two women vying for one empty House seat. In Milton, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
The Department of Elections says about 22% of registered voters in the 20th district have voted already. That means over 4,500 people have gone to the polls. And from now until August 3rd, the early voting schedule is 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. There are only 2 early voting locations. Those are Lewis Elementary and Mariner Middle Schools. Election day is August 5th, with many more polling places open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's a final farewell for now as Chincoteague's famous ponies make their way back to Assateague Island. The Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company says the Saltwater Cowboys will guide the animals out of the carnival at 10 a.m. They'll be paraded along that same parade route as Wednesday. Unlike Wednesday, though, the ponies stop to rest. Instead, they will go straight into the channel, swimming back to Assateague Island, where they'll remain until next year's swim. The ponies are expected to hit the water at 10:30. We are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. New or solidified tariff rates will soon go into effect for almost everything Americans import. They're set to start August 7th due to an executive order from President Donald Trump. New overnight, the universal base rate will remain 10% for goods from countries with which the U.S. has a trade surplus. The base will be 15% when a trade deficit is involved. The rates are set to go even higher for goods more than 24 other trade partners. Most products from Mexico are getting another 90-day pause. Several U.S. businesses say they can't afford to pay the tariffs without increasing prices for American consumers.
You're going to see price increases for the average American family of around $2,400 annually and a smaller economy.
And the Supreme Court might have the last words on those tariffs. Trump argues he can unilaterally impose them by declaring that trade deficits are national emergencies. A group of states and small businesses is challenging that assertion with a lawsuit. An appeals court is considering their case. And we have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, keeping Salisbury clean. We'll show you the efforts around the city by one group of teenagers. And major MLB trades. It was a busy MLB trade deadline up in Philadelphia, and we'll tell you the moves that were made. And Cambridge caters to locals. We'll tell you how the city manager is changing his schedule to make himself more available. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
Just about 5:42 on this Friday morning. Looking a little hazy, a little foggy in Salisbury. 72 right now. You've got 4 miles in some haze and fog, so take it slow out there, and also have the umbrella for drizzle and light rain. Temperatures in the 60s and low 70s. They're not going to move much as we have a gusty northeast wind that is gusting to 30 miles per hour at the coast. Lots of low clouds, drizzle, light rain. That's going to be with us much of the day with the cold front sliding through. Eventually, drier air will start to build in as we go to late tonight into the weekend. Golf forecast, not too good. Those greens are going to be slow because of the rain. Gray skies, clouds, light rain and drizzle, and around 75 degrees. So make sure you have that big golf umbrella with you. And call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast, sponsored by Brockstead Mandalis Federico.
New this morning, Delaware anglers are reeling in steady summer action up and down the state. That's according to Denrec's updated fishing report. Officials say Broadkill Beach is producing spot, weakfish, croaker, and blues. At Cape Henlopen Pier, anglers are mostly landing spot, croaker, and kingfish. A 12-pound sheep's head was landed off the rocks at the Indian River Inlet. Flounder are being caught in the Indian River and Rehoboth Bays, and tilefish are coming in from the offshore ocean. And Cambridge City Manager Glenn Steckman says he will have office hours on Saturday, August 2nd at City Hall. He will be available from 9 a.m. to noon. You can either stop by or email him to make an appointment. Glenn says he is looking to make Saturday office hours a monthly occasion for people unable to get to City Hall during the week.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
The Phillies and the Twins. That's a trade duo so nice, they did a deal twice. The MLB trade deadline was last night, and Philadelphia was certainly a buyer, not a seller. It dealt with Minnesota twice over the last 2 days, so let's break down the full haul. In total, the Phillies gave up 4 prospects: catcher Eduardo Tate, right-handed pitcher Mick Abel, outfielder Hendry Mendez, and right-handed pitcher Jeremy Valoria. The first 3 of that group are top 10 ranked prospects within Philadelphia's farm system. So what did the Phillies get back? Well, how about one of the hottest relief pitchers on the market in Jhoan Duran? The closer has a 2.01 ERA this season through about 50 innings of action for the Twins. Duran's fastball touches triple digits, which will certainly be welcomed by the Phils. Joining Duran in Philadelphia is outfielder Harrison Bader. He was a backup center fielder in Minnesota who was strong defensively. Bader also has 12 home runs to his name this season, which makes him a viable righty batter for the Phillies. The Phillies also acquired right-handed pitcher Matt Manning from the Tigers in exchange for a minor league prospect right before the deadline. That'll do it for sports. Have a great day, Delmarva.
And coming up tonight on DSN, your game of the night at 12:30 p.m. It's USSSA softball. Then you can catch the final score at 10:30. And on the DSN Plus app, along with that softball game we just mentioned, you can watch more USSSA Eastern National Softball Championships at 8 a.m. And it's a big weekend for the small screen. David Daniel has details in today's Hollywood Minute.
We're talking millions and millions of pounds of crab, billions of dollars.
I'm grabbing my gear and I'm heading up there.
One moment it's heaven, The next moment, hell.
Deadliest Catch is back. Longtime captain Sig Hansen says it's as exciting and dangerous as ever.
Every time you go fishing, it's always a new experience. You know, you can never predict what's going to happen. And that's why I think, you know, the fans that have been watching this show for the last 20 plus years, I think that's why they get into it. You know, they dig it because of that.
Season 21 of Deadliest Catch premieres today on Discovery Channel.
Hi, Daddy. It's me, Frank Jr.
The new Naked Gun movie is sparking interest in the original. 1988's The Naked Gun, starring Leslie Nielsen, has risen to the top of the daily streaming chart as measured by the streaming guide Just Watch.
This isn't my castle.
The Providence Falls book trilogy is now a trio of movies. Katie Stevens and Lachlan Quarmby star as the couple whose love transcends time. The three-part special event premieres Saturday on Hallmark Channel. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
Looking a little murky right now in the Tidal Health Cam in Salisbury. Some wet roads, drizzle, light rain. Make sure you have the umbrella out the door. Then a gorgeous weekend on the way to kick off the month of August. Sunshine, lower humidity, beautiful conditions. I'll have your forecast details in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
The time is now 5:49 and we are taking a live look outside at Salisbury on this Friday morning. And Bob, it's not going to be the most beautiful start to August, but that's okay. You're saying the weekend will make up for today's weather, but we need the storms.
Yeah, and I think we can all, you know, probably appreciate the cloud cover and the cooler temperatures, Elisa. It's a big break from the 90s and triple-digit heat indices. We're not going to see those for a while, but that transition between the hot and humid to the cooler, we had a lot of rain. Lewis, over 2 inches of rain. Milton, 1.89, 1.79 in Rehoboth. Georgetown checking in with 1.69 inches, with Delaware 1.57, and Cambridge, Maryland, a little less than that, a little bit over 1.5 inches. So a good soaking last night with those storms, but then we're going into the weekend looking great with high pressure. Canadian high pressure bringing in drier and cooler air, low humidity, dew points in the 50s and 60s. Some places by Sunday morning, believe it or not, could be into the upper 50s. But right now we're looking at the satellite picture. It looks like it's clearing out because you're seeing that deep white color going away. That's just the thicker clouds, but we still have a lot of low clouds. And what doesn't show up on the radar is drizzle and light rain. And we do have that patchy across the area, so make sure you have your umbrella out the door as we're tracking a cold front slowly making its way from north to south across the peninsula. But we still have a lot of clouds, a lot of showers back through D.C. into New York and southern New England. So it's going to be a cloudy, damp day. But here's a drier air as high pressure is building in over the Great Lakes, bringing in that cooler and drier air. And it's a sprawling area of high pressure. So we're going to be seeing this for a few days to come. Out the door, 60s and low 70s right now, 72 Millsboro, Milton 71, 71 in Lewis. Temperatures only warming a few degrees today, and dew points still pretty muggy in the 60s and 70s, but that will improve with time. It feels like temperatures similar to the actual temperature, and the wind's pretty strong along the coast, sustained over 20 miles per hour. We've seen gusts already up to 30 at the beaches and pretty breezy inland as well, so it's not going to be the best beach day. Clouds, drizzle, light rain as we go through the morning into the afternoon. You can see the temperatures move very little into the mid 70s, but still pretty breezy at the coast. Still kind of cloudy this evening. Then finally, we're seeing gradual clearing through the overnight into tomorrow morning. Lows in the 60s and 70s, and then Saturday afternoon, beautiful. Some places not even touching 80, mainly in the 70s, even cooler at the coast. And by Sunday morning, look how cool we get, down to 60 in Delmar. Some places may be in the upper 50s, while we keep it in the 60s and 70s at the coast. And I think by Sunday afternoon, a lot of us in the low 80s. But those winds strong at the coast, gusting over 30 as we go through the day. Not as strong inland, but still pretty breezy. And then we go into your Saturday, and those winds out of the northeast are still pretty strong as we see the humidity levels finally coming down into the comfortable range. Dew points in the 50s. That'll be glorious compared to what we're seeing lately. And that continues right through Tuesday. And then the humidity levels do start to creep up once again. Around 75 in Harrington. Arlington today, 73 in Seaford and Laurel. Cloudy, kind of drizzly. Easton 75, Denton 75. You're going to see about 76 in Pocomoke City and 75 in Snow Hill. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Gorgeous weekend. Enjoy. Lower 80s for highs, lower 60s at night, maybe some upper 50s, and then the 80s continue, and low humidity Monday through Wednesday. Temperatures below average. Another chance of rain moves in by Thursday.
Instead of spending their summer break sleeping in, a group of teenagers spent their mornings walking the streets of Salisbury picking up trash. They're a part of a week-long camp for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and their service project brought in multiple groups from Delaware and Maryland to clean up Route 13.
I think it's really important for everyone all the way around because it can teach other people that it's important not to litter and to kind of just save the environment, because as you can tell, it's kind of going downhill. There's a lot of litter outside, but it's also just serving how the Lord served us. So that's why I think it's important.
And the teens were able to divide and conquer almost 5 miles of ground through the city. And looking to add a furry friend to your family? Well, the Brandywine Valley SPCA is hosting an adoption event this weekend in Rehoboth Beach. It's happening Saturday, August 2nd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Petco on Coastal Highway. And here's the best part. There will be no adoption fees for dogs and cats. Adoption fees will also be waived at other BVSPCA campuses, but the Petco is a part of a special event. And the time is now 5:54, and we're going to check in with our coastal pet of the day. And today's coastal pet of the day is coming to us from the Brandywine Valley SPCA. On your screen right now is Ramona. Ramona loves a nice quiet place to take her naps. She's very friendly and loves attention. Plus, she is a very happy cat. If you want to adopt Ramona or any other lovable pet, you can head to the Brandywine Valley SPCA. And of course, we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen, scan the QR code at the top of your screen to submit your furry friend to CoastTV News, then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all of the pets we feature. Time is now 5:57, and we are going to take another look at our Friday forecast. Bob, this is a Friday you're going to want your rain jacket, and it's going to be a little cooler outside, so it'll be more bearable to wear that jacket.
And you won't need to slather on all that sunscreen either. At least we're not going to have that blazing sunshine. In fact, it's gray skies today, light rain and drizzle, and temperatures pretty much steady in the low 70s. If we hit mid 70s, that'll be lucky. We're going to be looking at gusty northeast winds. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, 75 today. Beautiful weekend, mostly sunny skies, low 80s, comfortable humidity, low 60s at night, maybe a few upper 50s too, and then dry and warm, very nice Monday through Wednesday. Maybe another shower chance Thursday and Friday, and then a little warmer as we go into next weekend with mid to upper 80s. But at least I'm not seeing any 90s on that 10-day forecast, so we get a break from that sweltering heat.
I think we need it, Bob. Well, coming up in our 6 o'clock hour, Ready for Recreational Pot, we'll tell you how regulations are expanding in the first state today. Coast TV News Today will be right back.